Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I am filming my God of Theme for season wrap up for the season of summer, which was now, or like we're still in August, but like summer is over. At least for my reading challenge, because I finished all the books for my God of Theme for season challenge, or God of Theme for summer challenge, I'm sorry. And I'm going to talk about all 12 books here. So if you don't know, it's a seasonal reading challenge. There is 4 challenges for 3 months at a time, so 12 books altogether. It's usually the first books I read every single month, unless like I need to read something sooner. I'm just gonna wrap them up here, starting off with June, which was Prime Month, so all the challenges for that was of course queer. The first challenge for June was called Platonic Love is Valid. Choose a book with an ace or an RO main character or an author. The first book that popped into mind for this was of course Loveless by Alice Oseman, which is on Voices, and it is also an hour and ace main character. So this one follows Georgia, who has never been in love but really wants to be. She has idealized, I would say, love for a long time and has convinced herself that she's in love with someone, but she finds out throughout this book that she's really not. She never has been, and she probably never will be. And it's basically her discovering her sexuality and discovering her preferences and figuring out that that is of course okay. So I think basically, I don't know how to describe it, but it's basically like all those other queer books where like the main character realizes and comes to terms with that they're gay, just as in this case of course it is that the main character finds out that they're asexual and aromantic. And I don't think there's many books like this, at least not right now. There's of course more and more books coming with an asexual and aromantic main characters. Like I've seen much more now in the recent years than like it ever has been before, which is amazing, and going forward I think it will be even more. But like generally we have a lot more books with like where the characters find out they're gay. Still, of course, they're super important, super fun, super great books. I'm not saying that at all, like, they're amazing. But, like, it was really nice to also read a different kind of identity and learn more about it and just see this whole other things that comes with having those identities. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a really good book. It was quite sad just because like I don't like it when friends fight, but I think it all just came together really nicely and I ended up really enjoying it. So I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars and very much recommend it. Yay! The next challenge was called Colorful Love, and it was to choose a book written by a black author with a queer main character. For this I read Date Me Bryson Keller by Kevin Van Wy. So I managed to forget the main character's name because that is how I rule. But basically this one is set in high school, and there's basically this bet going around that Bryce needs to go out with one person every single week and need to be like their boyfriend for the week. But he never said it could only be girls, and then our main character asks him out and they start dating, and it's just super adorable. I do not enjoy outing scenes without the consent from the other characters. I really dislike those. It's very normal, but like I don't feel comfortable reading those as much. But like, I'm not saying that the book was bad because of it, I'm just saying that they had it and I don't like those kinds of things. I like that the characters are able to come out on their own terms, but that's not how the reality is. But yeah, beside from that, the book was adorable. I really liked our main characters and how easily they clicked with each other. I really enjoyed just so many parts of the book, and it was truly just an adorable contemporary with these 2 boys. And yeah, I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. I gave apparently everything that. It's really only because I pick up things I know I will enjoy, so it makes sense that I will rate them highly, but I feel like I gave literally everything 4 stars. Different 4 stars means different things, I keep saying this. The next challenge was called Pineapple. Choose a LGBTQ plus book with a slow burn or pining. And then it said that's why it's called Pineapple. Wink wink. I don't know why my best friend did this to me, but okay. For this, I didn't actually have any idea what to read. So I asked on Twitter for recommendations, and Jesse from Bones Books recommended me this, which is The Vanishing Birds by Simon Jimenez. And this one is a sci-fi, and it, I was gonna say it's set in space, obviously. It basically is several point of views over many years. So the first romance is a really long like pining romance, and it's basically they're set on this planet, and then I don't remember how many years there was in between every time they visit, but there was many, like 14 years or something, because they go around like in a circle and it takes a long time before they get back again and get stuff. And then these 2 characters are like in love, or not in love, but they have a really big connection and they like fuck every time they meet there. But like obviously the person on the planet ages, but the other person doesn't, because they are like in I was gonna say, like, you know, in like when they were traveling space and they go to sleep. So one day also on this planet, this boy appears out of nowhere and they're like, what the heck is he doing here? And then he like gives the boy to the ship so they can take him like to another station in space where like they can find out who the heck he is. But this boy turns out to be really special, and there's like lots of things coming into play of like him being protected. Then we also have like the person who made these space things, and then we like also get her flashback, but there's also a lot of pining romance because they didn't get to be together. And yeah, so yeah, it has different queer representation. There's MM things and FF things, so like yeah, it was definitely queer, and there was a lot of pining in it, so it was really, really fitting for the challenge. And it was a really beautiful book, like truly I felt like I was like drowning in the massiveness of the universe, and just like how the characters all like loved each other, and how like it was so sad and heartbreaking. It was more even about like found family than anything else, and I loved that. And it was just truly an adorable but like sad story. So yeah, I ended up, surprise surprise, give this 4 out of 5 stars as well, and it was really, really good. I kind of want to reread it, and I definitely want to read more from this author because it was truly great. So yeah, I just recommend this a lot. Like, someone asked me for a sci-fi rack, this was solid. The next challenge for June was done. Choose a LGBTQ+ book about sports written by a POC author. And for this, I chose Running with Lions by Julian Winters, and here they all play soccer. I thought they played baseball, but they're playing soccer. So yeah, either way, I hadn't read the book yet. So yeah, we are at this like camp thing, and they're like in this soccer team. It's really special because they're all really accepting of like other identities. So many of them are like queer, like in the team, and like they are like one of the few kind of like teams that like accept this. As we know, sports can be very toxic, and if anything is like remotely not masculine, they will not like it. But here they're like, the coach is really pressing on the fact that they are all accepting, etc., which is really cute. Then this new teammate shows up, which was the childhood best friend for our main character, Sebastian, and they kind of realized that maybe more in the friendship that they had than they thought. It's great, okay. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. I don't remember what I rated it, but I feel like I guess I didn't enjoy this as much as I thought I would. I just didn't find the writing that enjoyable. I felt the characters just kept shifting. I don't know how to describe it, but like I did enjoy it, and I thought it was really, really cute, but I just felt like there was something disconnecting me from the story. Like just how it was written, how certain scenes came out to play. It was like not contradicting of each other, but more like how they ran was just felt unnatural. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, it was cute. Also, I thought the main character was not white, but he was, so there we are. Unless I misunderstood something. The author's black, so that was the challenge. But yeah, I also like, I guess I also expected like more friendship things, and I guess we got it, but it also was just like, some friends were like kind of mean, and they were just like, oh, but we've been friends for so long, and I was like, that's not cool, but okay. But yeah, I don't know. I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, but I think it's more like 3.5 out of 5. I sounded really negative. It was a really cute book, and I'm excited to read more from Julian Winters because the author has more cute queer stories, and I'm excited for those, okay? So now we are in July, and for the first challenge, it was Black and White. Choose a book written between the 1900s and the 2000s. Written by a POC author. So basically before the 2000s started, and I chose Kindred by Octavia E. Butler, and this one follows our main character Donna, and she travels in time. She suddenly travels back in time all the way to like 1815, and then she's of course assumed a slave because she comes to this plantation. She's black, and it's of course truly horrific. She has to like pretend shit, and she thinks that she needs to save this son to the plantation owner called Rufus because he's supposed to be the father of one of her ancestors. She thinks he can change his mind of how to treat black people back then. Can she though? We will see. But yeah, she travels back several times, sometimes for a really long time. It's truly, truly horrific what she has to go through. Of course, what everyone had to go through then, but like how she came from like somewhere where she felt, I was gonna say, much safer and better, and then she needs to go back to this time, and just, yeah, it's horrific. And it was truly really difficult to read. It was like a really painful book, but I think it was really good, but like it was also very sad. So yeah, it was a lot of emotions reading it, but it was a solid story. And I'm excited to finally have read a Octavia E. Butler book, and I want to read more, of course. It's just very interesting how the story was written, and yeah, I had a lot of great aspects and conversations. So yeah, I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Surprise, surprise. Next challenge was called Sleeping Till Noon. Choose a 700+ page book written by a LGBTQ or an POC author. And for this one, I had chosen, well, actually I chose one book and then I wasn't allowed to read that from the challenge master. Then I chose another book, which then I got, and it was too few pages compared to what had stood online, so I had to read something completely else. I was also allowed to go down to 600 pages because I couldn't find anything on 700 pages, but I ended up reading this, which was, I don't need to check, almost 700 pages. I like fulfill the challenge basically if we go 10% up or down. But yeah, I read Killing Commendatore by Murakami, who is obviously Japanese and thereby of course POC. So I fulfilled the challenge, and this one was, I was gonna say was its news release, but it's not anymore. I think it came out in, what, 2018 or something? But yeah, I had it for a while, and I have this really pretty edition, and I just read it. I would plan to like read all these books in order of how they were released, but here we are, because I had to pick it for the challenge. The other book that I got didn't fit the challenge. Either way, Murakami's books are weird to explain and they're weird to talk about. But yeah, this one basically follows this one character. Does he even have a name? They usually don't. I don't even remember what his name is either way. He is a portrait painter, or he separates from his wife and decides to live a bit like up in the mountains or something, and then that is the home of a really famous painter, and he finds this painting that he has covered up because that famous painter is now like, he's in a nursing home because he's old and sick, and then he's just there, and then he opens his painting and he starts like seeing this, I was gonna say thing, and then he meets also this really random dude who like is his neighbor and wants him to paint a painting of him. And other things happen, like kind of supernatural things, I guess, because he starts seeing the thing in the painting. Ow. Like a person. Ow. It's just like literally pulled my hair out. I don't know, like it's, I realized that the Murakami books, because I've read a few now, has really like similar things happening but in different ways. It's always like one character goes and does this one thing, and then there's like a short period of her life, and they're always like, oh yeah, when I was 34 there was like these 3 months and I went on this trip, and in this trip these things happened, and then like it's a thing in his books. Like it happens again and again. I've read a few now, as I said, but they're all like of course different because it had different plots, if you can even call it a plot, have different weird events happening. But yeah, they are weird, and I can see that they're not for everybody, but I kind of like that. I kind of like the weirdness of it, but sometimes it gets so obscure that you're not unsure what is even happening, and you never get like a satisfying full conclusion, but you have to just roll with the vibe. And yeah, I ended up giving it, I think, like 3.5 out of 5 stars, because like it wasn't my favorite of his, but it is still enjoyable reads because it's very fascinating, because you're really curious for like what it all means, but then you never get an answer, so there's that. But yay, I finally read this. My prettiest Murakami book, so that is something. Travel in style. Choose a book about traveling to a new country or new world written by a POC author. For that I chose The Girl from Everywhere by Heidi Heilig, and this one, they are literally on this ship and they keep traveling in time to different places or new countries, so I thought it fit really well. And in this one, it follows Nyx, and her father is obsessed with going back to time to where, like right before she was born, because her mother died when she got her, and her father wants to go back and save her so that like they can all live happily ever after. And he always like been more obsessed with like getting the mother back than like being with his child. And then we're just trying to like find the right map for this, because you can never use a map twice, and it needs to be a map made in, I guess, like the time they need to go back to. So like if a map was made in 2008 but you wrote 776 on it, you would go back to 2008, because there can't be a falsified map, if I remember correctly. And I thought the whole concept was really cool. I thought like the whole thing that she would be abandoned when they found her mother because that she needs to go away was all really cool, and there's reasons for this not working, and there's reasons for different things, and the conclusion of all was very sweet and heartwarming. It was a lot of action. We are on Hawaii a lot, and I know that the author is also from there. So yeah, it was nice, beautiful story. I got a bit confused with what was like happening when timelines kept like intervening, but that's just because I don't have enough brain power to think that far. But yeah, I ended up enjoying it a lot. 4 out of 5 stars. Excited to read the sequel and whatever that will be about. But yeah, there's definitely so much more to explore in here. So excited, and yeah, it was a really cool book. I'm happy I read it. I think I had it here for like ages, so I'm happy I picked it. And for the last challenge for July, we have Self-Love. Choose a book with own voices mental health representation written by a POC author. And for that we have The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X.R. Pan. In this one, Lee's mother has killed herself, and then she deals of course with all the like sorrow and loss, and there's a lot of like flashback going into her mother's depression. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it is own voices. Lee is convinced that her mother has been reborn as a bird, and she keeps seeing these signs to go somewhere to find out about her past. So they go to Taiwan, where her mother came from, and we learn much about the past, and we go as a flashback to like the main character's life, seeing her relationship with her best friend, etc. It's very, very good. It was a very solid story. I do think it became a bit repetitive because it was just like, oh, going back, oh, realizing something, oh, going back. It kept happening over and over, and was the only way for the main character to realize anything in the story. And I think, like, as I said, it became a bit repetitive. But other than that, it was a really beautiful story. I really enjoyed all the different aspects of it. I was really sad too, but I think they will be okay. But yeah, the author's finally coming out with a new book next year. I'm saying finally, and I'm like, I read this now because I've been knowing about it since it came out. I'm just very slow. But yeah, I'm saying finally just because I'm very excited for it. It seems really beautiful, that too, so I'm excited. Gave this 4 out of 5 stars. Literally given every book 4 out of 5 stars. I'm looking at the books for the next month, which is the last one, and I literally gave every book there also 4 out of 5 stars. Yay. We are now in the last month, which is August, and for August I also filmed a little vlog vlogging how like the reading went and stuff, because I want to start doing like monthly vlogs for God of Thankful Season, and in August I did it for the first time. That should be up before this, so check it out. I will leave a link down below, and I hope you enjoyed that, and I will try to make vlogs for every month upcoming God of Thankful Season in autumn. Start with August, which I just read. Actually, I read a lot before God of Thankful Season yesterday when filming this, so it's kind of weird, but yeah. First we have Mundane. Choose a fantasy book with the main character running away from something or getting a new start. Dun dun dun. It literally says dun dun dun, but yeah. And for that I read Valor by John Grant, which is the second book in the Faithful and Fallen series, and I started this year, and I have a goal of finishing it. I don't know why I thought that would be a reasonable goal, but here we are. They have a lot of point of views. And going into this, I had kinda forgotten what happened in book 1, even though I just read it. I only remember what happened in the end and who was the bad guy. And there's a lot of point of views in the beginning. I feel like it's not like in Game of Thrones where I remember who every character were. You know, come to a new point of view in Game of Thrones, you know who they are. But here it's just like you come to a new character, and I had to check up in the like the back all the time of who were who. But then when I got like a couple of 100 pages in, I remembered, so then it was much more fun to read it. And then like you see all these point of views coming together and going apart, and it was very fun. And in the beginning I was really pissed and I didn't like the book at all. Not only because I didn't remember who was who, but just like nothing was happening. It was really boring. But then like when I just like read and like came over like the beginning shit, it was just so much fun. But like in the end I didn't want to put the book down. I was like very invested, that was a sentence, in what was going to happen and how it was all gonna play out, and I ended up really enjoying it, and that annoys me. Oh, I totally lied, because this is not 4 out of 5 stars. It was 3 out of 5 stars because it doesn't deserve 4 in like for my reading, because I struggled too much in the beginning. A bit of my own fault, but like I also blame the book for being too confusing. Also like it's very slow paced. I feel like nothing happened. They're just moving around a lot, and then like finally something happens in the end. I feel like it doesn't need to be 600 pages long, and it doesn't feel like a 600-page plot. But like the author really wants to go thoroughly through every single character, and that's fine. It's a bit long for me. Also, can we talk about how tiny the font is in this edition? Like, look at this. But yeah, I got used to that too though. Interested to see how it all will play out, but right now it's going really straightforward in a line of how things will play out. I'm looking for like something more, something that will be like a surprise, because right now it's going exactly where you're thinking it's gonna go. I have a theory about like the end, and if it's correct I will laugh. But yeah, we will see. I can't spoil the theory because I will spoil the book, but yeah, I have 2 more books, and yeah, like it's not amazing as I thought it would be, but I don't hate it. I am enjoying it. As I said, I started to really like it, so yeah, I'm excited, and I'll read the author's other books too. Maybe I'll like this more because this is like the first series of the author. So that was a very confusing review. I don't know what's happening, but yeah, let's continue. The next challenge was called Pain, and it was to reread a fancy book you didn't like. I think when I like hauled this, I said I hadn't read it, but I have. I just lied because I forgot what I bought it for, which is Coraline by Neil Gaiman. I read this when I was a kid. I think I checked my Goodreads of when I read it. It was in 2009, which is like 11 years ago. I don't remember anything. I think also I watched a movie at some point, but I don't remember anything from that either. But yeah, I reread it, and I actually really enjoyed it this time. I think I gave it 2 out of 5 stars first time I read it. Now I give it 4 because I just really enjoyed the atmosphere of the story. I love how it is like in middle grade, but it's written like really spooky, and I just love the writing. I think the writing is really, really good, and like it's just, I feel like I have seen this story before, but I don't know if this came first or the other stories came before. Like, I don't know, but it's kind of like just spooky and creepy, and I just enjoyed it, okay? I just enjoyed the cat. The cat companion made everything cool. And I just think like now, because I actually read it when I was in the age group for this, but then I didn't like it. But like now I can just appreciate like how it's written for kids, I guess, but like how it's kind of smart and just like be about being brave, and I liked it, okay? So 4 out of 5 stars for this, and yay for more Neil Gaiman books. I want to read more, okay? And the next challenge was called Let's Be Friends, choose a middle grade fantasy book written by POC and LGBTQ+ author. By the way, all the books I chose for August were like super short, that's why I finished so fast, except Valor. But yeah, for this I read Hurricane Child by Kirsten Calendar, and it was so good. I'm just smiling like an idiot. It was so good. And so it follows Caroline, which was really funny because I just read Coraline and then I read this with Caroline. And yeah, and her mom abandons her, just to be clear. She leaves and she's questioning why she's not coming back. She's questioning if she ever loved her. It's very sad. And then she goes to school, struggling a lot with school, not fitting in. Her skin is very dark. People don't like that. And yeah, she lives on like one of the islands, the Virgin Isles, is it what it's called? Yes, called the Water Island. But she also travels over to like other islands because her island doesn't have her school. I'm sure other people from those islands could say that in a better way, but that's how I would say it. But yeah, I really like the setting, being set in somewhere else than the usual places, and I just enjoyed our main character. Just, it hurt a lot for her. She's like 12, but like it hurt a lot for her, and her finding love like another girl, and it was just, that was an intense thing. Yeah, and just the whole deal with her mother, and yeah, it was just everything I love in the middle grade. Just loved all the different conversations, like being queer, being black, just living where she lives because hurricanes is a thing and storms, etc. Just so many things that came into this really short book, and it was so good. I loved it. Okay, I give 4 out of 5 stars. Surprise. And it's just a really good middle grade. Like if people ask me for middle grade now, this is my go-to recommendation, and I'm just so happy I read it. I'm gonna read all of Kaysen's books, of course, but yeah, this was beautiful, and I am excited now to read the other one, King and the Dragonflies, because it's here. It just seems really good. I feel like I'm repeating myself on my vlog, but it's fine because not everyone watches both, right? I think just this book balanced everything you want to say perfectly, like with the romance, the mother, as I said, and like all the other elements with the lib, and yeah, you balance everything perfectly for the story it was, and not everyone does that, so it was really cute. I'm very happy, okay? I also had like supernatural elements. I forgot to say that because it was interesting, but yeah, I forgot that. Lol, that was also fun. And for the last book for God of Valor Summer is Fuck School. Choose a book between 150 to 350 pages written by POC and or LGBTQ+ author. And for that we had The Red Threads of Fortune by Nan Young. This one is the sequel to The Black Tides of Heaven, and it was a bit sad but also good. So the first book followed one of the pair in the twins, and this one follows the other twin after the ones in the first one. I don't know how much to say about this plot because it kind of spoils the first book. But basically we have Mokoya, and then she is hunting this naga, and then a lot of things happens after that. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, the author's queer, the main characters are queer, everything was super nice. I really like the world and it's really fascinating. I just feel like we never got a proper explanation for it. So I'm still so confused of how everything works, but the story still works fine. It's okay. So yay, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, maybe like 3.5 I guess. And I am enjoying the series and I'm excited to read the rest of the novellas. I don't know what more to say actually. It was enjoyable, but as I said, some parts were confusing, but it was still a cool story. Yay! That was all the books for Gotta Think for summer. It's one vlog for Gotta Think for season 2 much for every month. I feel like I'm repeating myself in my wrap up, but that comes at the end of all the months. I don't know what to say. Who knows actually what I'm gonna do now. I'm questioning everything because I felt like I repeated myself in my vlog. Either way, leave a hurricane emoji down below if you enjoyed this. You will see me soon in a new video. Join me for Gotta Think for autumn if you want to. And goodbye. Thank you so much for watching.